Greetings, greetings. It's Uncle Vigilante. Welcome to this emergency broadcast. This emergency broadcast with Max Freeman. Let me make sure I'm on mute over here. I am. With Max Freeman, that resulted from a conversation last night that I had with Captain Byeee, Byeee. If you haven't seen the interview, go watch it. It is 45 minutes, well worth your time. It was a wonderful interview. And we were talking about, he is at a point in time in his crypto career where he is genuinely addressing and taking a look at each asset that he still holds. And he holds a lot of them. I think he said last night that he had already pivoted to where he's about 30% into Epic Cash. And I shared the story of when Max Freeman, who is my honorable guest right now. Hello, Max. How are you?
It's an epic day.
It's an epic day. And I just want to rewind a few months. Max Freeman, I love you, but there was a very specific day that I did not like you very much. I'm sure you remember it. It was that day where you kind of just had enough and you said, okay, hold on. I'm going to invest some time in you, in your portfolio. At the time I had about 25 coins. And you said, we are going to go through each one of them and we are going to go through an exercise. And then you're going to tell me if you want to continue to HODL, or if you might want to consider the alternative. And the alternative that we were discussing was pivoting and investing those dollars in Epic Cash. I will say since then, as of this morning, let me just take a quick peek. I did hold a lot of these coins. Let me just share my screen real quick. So this is a snapshot I asked Enrique to do before the show. It is literally 11:40 a.m., so 20 minutes ago. And what this shows was this was about the time we had the conversation. Actually, it was at 24 cents when we had that conversation. So it was a little bit before. It was in August. And I held Solana, BNB, Matic, ETH, BTC. Let me see, Link, BCH, XRP, Doge, ADA. I held all of those. Now, wise investment advisors would tell you to invest in a portfolio of blue chips. I've heard that all my life from a stock standpoint. You know, you just want to be diversified. And if I would have continued, if you take a look at this top 15, basically this exercise is, Enrique did, he went through a thought experiment and said, let me compare Epic to the top 15 coins at the time on 9/3. And we're just going to track every week to see if I bought $1,000 worth of Epic at that price, $1,000. So all of these we invested 1,000 in. Well, when you go over here, what is your that $1,000 investment, what has it returned as of 11:40 today? So the $1,000 in Epic has basically increased 862%. If you go down here and you take a look at the top 15 average, that $1,000 would yield $41. So 4.18%. Those are the facts, guys. Those are the facts. But I'm going to stop sharing this. And Max, I asked you after Captain, just kind of put the pebble in my shoe, and it just triggered me back to that conversation. I asked if you could please make time to educate us all. And today, I'd love to go through the exercise that you went with me so everybody else can do their own soul searching and determine, what what is best for their financial future, to continue to hodl, or to non-emotionally, pragmatically do a paired comparison and then make an educated decision. So with that tee up, I'll hand it over to you. You can screen share, take us through this however you would like. And hello, everyone in the chat.
Yeah, I think you had specific ones that you wanted to mention, right? And if memory serves, your grab bag would be what, down about 80% versus up 1,000%? Do I have my math right? Something like that?
Yes, sir.
All right, so quite a dramatic, what is that, about a 40x delta so far?
It's a 40x delta. I'm glad that, as I said on my cigar walk yesterday, that I took the cotton balls from my ears, put them in my mouth.
All right, so which ones do you want to go into?
Well, what I wanted to do is go through certainly BTC, ETH, Matic. Would love to hit some of the privacy coins that I held, are Monero. We could start with those.
Right.
8 Cardano would be a good one as well. And then let me just show you this. This is great. This is hot off the press. I just got it today in the morning, and I sent it over to you. This is a Medium article. Best crypto coins making hodlers rich. November and December insights. Okay, so
making promoters rich.
Making promoters rich. So there's AVAX, but there was one on here, ADA. So Cardano, that would be a good one to go through because everybody loves them some Cardano, and I'm just curious because I stopped there. DOT. And we don't have to go through all of these, but these are the ones, CRO, these are the ones that this promoter today is saying these are making people rich. And so maybe we can definitely hit on ADA because I know that's pretty popular. Cool. All right.
All right. Well, okay. Why don't we screen share, and why don't we start with Monero, because I happen to have it up on the screen.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. So first off, I want to say that this clear-eyed appraisal is in no way intended to be disrespectful of any of these projects or to talk negatively about their valuation. There's many ways to success, but just if your yardstick is inappropriate and you go, well, I'm 6 feet tall on my online dating profile, but the length of a foot has shrunk. So, it's different. We got to adjust for inflation. Normalizing everything to BTC terms often helps me see where things are over the long term. So when I look at Monero, what I see is I see an asset that if you held BTC, you would have done a whole lot better. So right now, one XMR is at 0.004 BTC. And so you would have had, let's see, 0.00 or 0.02. So you lost about 95% of your Bitcoin value by being in Monero the past 3 years. Is that clear what I just went through?
Yeah, people aren't used to looking at this. And again, I'm coming at it from a newbie perspective. So in looking at this in terms of Bitcoin, can you just educate us on why you?
Yeah. So, okay. So back here, let's take early January 2018. So let's say you had one BTC. All right. So okay. one BTC divided by 0.003. Let's just say 0.003. Okay. So the one BTC you can divide into 100 million parts. Those are called Satoshis. Ours are called Freeman. It's the same 100 million. All right. Talk and chew gum at the same time. 0.000, 0.000. Okay. So back then it was 0.003 or 0.0347. Okay, so Oh, no. Oh, 1 divided by that. There we go. Okay, so you could have had 28.8 Monero for 1 BTC.
Okay.
All right. So would you rather have 28 Monero today or 1 BTC today? So let's see, 28 XMR in USD. Oh, okay, let's just 28 times 242. So you would have $6,776 versus 56,000. So
Okay.
you lost 85% of your value in Monero versus sitting with BTC. You could have done 20 times better.
Just holding BTC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
And other ones that look good. Oh, I've been in Litecoin since 2014. Really? I'm sorry. You want to move in with my mom? Like, she's got spare room in her basement. I mean, so look at this. 0.003. And back here, you could have had 0.03. So 99%. So your 1 BTC is down to $600.
Wow.
So let's go through that math. So back here, you could have had 0.03. So we're going to go, oh, about the same. Okay. So you could have 33 LTC. 33 LTC is 208. So 68.64. Yeah. So about the same.
All right.
I must be looking at slightly different
This is sounding great. This is sounding great for Bitcoin.
It would be great, except there's the fact that BTC stopped being Bitcoin somewhere along the way, and it depends on your definition. It gets back to, am I about 6 feet, or the length of a foot shrunk by 4% due to inflation, and now I'm 6'5" or whatever.
Can you to be fair, because somebody's going to ask, well, do the same math with Epic.
Sure. So let's go here. All right, so let's go to Max and let's go to BTC.
Oh, that's cool.
And you can see that, okay, like most new proof of work coins, it comes out and there's no supply, and initial FOMO, like you got one atomic swapped on your Dero buy. Okay, yep. So oh wow, free fall. I guess we're all gonna die. Unplug it. Okay, so here the dog days of winter. Is this thing gonna survive? Look at that, $500. $500. So back here. It was what? 0, 0, 0, 6 zeros, 108. So that was our bottom.
Okay.
We bottomed out as 108 sats.
All right.
Today, it's 4,400, or no, 5,000 sats. So we are up 50x versus BTC since March.
Okay, do the same math you did.
Okay. So let's see, 57,000 times, yeah, so 2.8 million.
Okay, how did
so if you had 1 BTC in let's go through this. So if you had 1 BTC in Epic at that time, it was 108 sats. So one. All right, so you could have bought the, but BTC was lower as well. We're switching between sats and dollars here. Give me 1 sec. This is why I wanted to prepare earlier. You wanted me to run through it in real time. It takes a couple of whacks at it.
No,
But
this is fine. This is fine. This
yeah.
is good. Just because.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together.
Yeah.
So okay. So back then, the market cap. Let's see. All right. So here, it was 100 sats. You see.
Okay.
So
Yep.
108, 114. So at 100 sats, that means 1 million epic per BTC.
Okay.
So what was BTC back then in dollar terms? BTC was March 2020. So about 8 grand, something
Okay.
like that.
All right.
All right. So for 8 grand, you could have had 1 million epic. So 0.8 of a cent.
Okay.
So we've gone from 0.8 of a cent to almost $3. So in normalized Satoshi terms, like if you had 1 BTC worth of epic at the bottom of the market, you would have 50 BTC now.
Okay.
So whereas in all these other networks, you're losing value versus BTC. In epic, you're gaining and gaining a lot. This is the only asset that I've ever seen that has this pattern, certainly over any length of time. So
And
like
so
if you go,
if you go to Cardano.
yeah, so go to Cardano, for example. It's been great. Now, mind you, this is $50 billion and the network isn't running yet. So, imagine the potential that has to be there to justify your 10x on something that's already 50 billion and it's got that kind of value when nobody's even able to use it yet. I mean, I understand there's some limited functionality, you can stake and this and that, but with projects like Avalanche out there that are rocking at less than half the price, this is one. Anyway, my money's in Epic. So like, let's say you had, what was it? At the top of the market back here during the last boom, early 2018, that was about 7,000 sats per ADA. And now it is 2,800. So if you FOMO'd in at the top of the market back here with your BTC back in January 2018, you've sat out the rally in real terms. You're down about half.
Okay. Okay.
And then if we look at Litecoin, we already did that one.
Yep.
We did Monero. The other the best advice that I can give people is there's 2 basic categories. There's 13,000 assets and they fall into 2 types or 2 buckets. You've got coins or layer 1s which run their own blockchains. That would be Avalanche, Bitcoin Cash, BSV, BTC, Litecoin, Monero, Epic, Ethereum. There's, I don't know, let's say maybe a few hundred overall, a few dozen serious ones, and very few will actually be survived. Very few will actually survive because a layer 1 is non-trivial to do, and there's network effects and moats and so on, but they exist, and so almost everything is a token. A token is like a stock. It's like I have this amusement park here on the Jersey Shore, and if you buy these tickets, you can ride the roller coaster ride. And maybe you can flip your roller coaster ride tickets for triple what you paid for. But you may also like discover that nobody needs roller coaster rides and you can't sell them at all. So when you get into some of this meme coin stuff and things where you ask, well, what does the network do? I don't know. Well, okay, go check. Well, it doesn't do anything, but we're all making so much money. Let's stick at it. Okay, the casino lets you win sometimes. And so if a token is like a stock, it depends on the management acumen and the skill of the people involved, the promoters, the ability to cater to changing tastes and stay on top of who's the movers and shakers. Like if you see the Twitter going from this to that to the other thing, oh, it's the summer of this, and now it's the season of this type of coin. Those are more transient phenomena, but what we're doing is building utilitarian, like digital real estate, you can think of it. And so if I have an apartment building with 100 units of it, or units in it, and then across the street on the exact same location, just across the street, there's an identical building with 100 apartments in it, then presumably the rents are going to be about the same. The market prices are going to be about the same. The value of the structure depends on the utility that people get from it, in this case, as a residence. And so what can you do with Epic? Well, you can send transactions over it. McMurphy and I did the math. You can send about 5,000 Epic transactions for the value of one coin. So imagine you go to I don't know, to Bank of America, and you buy a $2 I don't know, card, basically, imagine, and you get your next 5,000 wire transfers free instead of costing $45. Yeah, and we struggle to come up with appropriate analogies and visualizations and things like that. But that's ultimately what it's all about. It's about moving the money between people in this certain type of way. Now, incidentally, BTC users have paid miners, due to the cartelization and artificial constraint of layer one capacity over there, which is a story we can get into another time in greater detail. But that they've been soaked for $1 billion so far this year. I think it was 999 million. How absurd is it? Imagine if I said, hey, uncle, I'm going to give you a 2008 cell phone that you can only call certain countries in the world. And by the way, whenever you send an SMS, it's $63 and it's going to take 30 minutes to get there. You'd laugh me out of the room. And yet, like, we're supposed to hear this is the future of money, and it's inevitable that we're all going to use it. Precisely why, again? Why are we going to buy your overpriced bags? I know CNBC tells us it's going to $1 million, and that'd be great for the promoters, but why? Because it's going to be $20,000 per send at millions of dollars BTC or whatever. I haven't even done the math, but I mean, it goes from the absurd to you should be in the loony bin, or at least go back to remedial arithmetic. And so if you look at these layer one protocols as real estate, the smart contract platforms, like how would you value an Avalanche versus a Phantom versus a Polkadot versus a Solana versus a Cardano? It's okay, well, on that real estate, you can run these smart contract computations, and that makes it potentially more useful than just a simple ledger like BTC or Litecoin or Monero or Epic that can just move the single asset back and forth in a particular kind of way. We don't have those types of capabilities, at least not today. And so if you have a piece of real estate on a busy street corner and you want to rent it out to a Starbucks or a bakery or something, they're gonna the ability of them to pay you rent, or the price of that rent, is going to be determined by the foot traffic that goes through, because the number of people that go through determines how many lattes they can sell and how much they can afford to pay the premises owner. And so it's the same thing here. It's really, really expensive and slow and clunky and cumbersome to send value through some of these older obsolete networks. And when you do, there's all these negative consequences. So when you use BTC, everyone can see how much money you have, where you got it from, what else you do after we do a transaction. If I split a lunch bill with you, I mean, we obviously can't do that anymore, but back in the day when it was pennies to send BTC to one another, oh, cool, let's whip out the ledger and do this new form of money. Well, now I can peek into your wallet and you can peek into my wallet, and that one link, we're tethered forever financially. Wow. And with Epic, it's not that way. And so simply right there alone, Epic has the identical store of value properties to BTC with the 21 million, but it has all those use cases where observability and that openness of you seeing my money and me seeing yours, if that's just a non-starter for that type of transactional use case, and for a lot of people that is, imagine a company that doesn't want its staff knowing how much the other staff make. You don't want your competitors being able to data mine your customer lists and your suppliers, and Goldman Sachs, hey JP Morgan, let me show you all my trading positions. No, that's just a non-starter, and yet
Max,
we've been accepted to yeah.
We hear all the time that you saying that is kind of a hand wave argument, because layer 2, you should check it out. Why don't you just quickly tell us about layer 2, and then I want to go to a very specific comparison that you and I went through when I was at my pain point.
Yeah, so I did check it out, and it turns out that is akin to saying, I'm gonna bolt a turbocharger on the side of this here horse, and we'll see you around the NASCAR track the next lap. I mean, it's comical. So like, but judging by the reaction that we got on the 9th year senior welcome surprise on the Zoom, you would think that there was some deep science, and okay, well, our engineers have been working ever since 2009 to overcome the fundamental performance limitations of equestrian science. And now we're going straight to cold fusion. Like, the horse manure turns into plasma fusion, and we're going to the future. No, it's like, we're confident that a solution will be found in time, is always what it comes down to. And so the emperor has no clothes. There is no there. 2 years ago, Lightning Network was 18 months away. And today it's still 18 months away. And it will always be, because it simply doesn't work. Right. And nobody needs to take my word for that. There's a lot of research out there, and we're going to put this together through FreeU. But even if the tech did work, then really the question is why you would want to go back to a banking intermediated model with all of the crypto problems, plus all of the punitive sort of regulatory stuff that the banking lobby has saddled people with, the 14-point interrogatories on Coinbase account sign up, an example. And then you've put trusted third parties back in between you and your money. So what is the point of this Bitcoin thing again?
Yeah, why did you ever leave fiat?
Yeah, right. And that part gets lost in the, but look, it's going to 288 grand. Plan B says so. Look, my line's on a chart. Look, it's mesmerizing, and it's good fun, and a lot of people made a lot of money. But the story of Bitcoin, if you go right to the very first page, it says a P2P electronic cash system, one in which the main benefits are lost if a trusted third party is required. I challenge anyone out there today, show me how you use BTC, certainly on any kind of scale, on any kind of ongoing basis, without using a trusted third party, specifically a financial institution.
Great.
I'm not going to hold my breath.
Okay, no, me neither. I would like to go, if you would, because this was very, very painful for me. But if we could go back in your charts and take a look at, and again, your qualifier at the beginning, this is not to knock anything else. It was just you taking me through a very painful exercise. So I got into Pirate Chain, and I think it was back, if we could pull up some kind of chart of what the price was. I remember my basis was 375, and it was right around $2 when you and I had the conversation. And for me, it was like so painful, because I was like, no, I want to get back above my basis. So my brain told me if I can just break even, and this is the first time you educated me that is the wrong way to be thinking about this. And I will tell you, at that point in time, after that, I did pivot, and maybe we can do just kind of a comparison. I did pivot and invested it into Epic Cash when it was like at 24 cents. So to me, it was Man, that was so painful because I love the pirate community. I love the privacy community, but you were so pragmatic and you're like, do you want to catch a falling knife or do you want to take your financial future, without emotion into your create your own destiny? So let's just walk through this together if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. So I think CoinMarketCap has a compare feature. So the
Okay.
Zoom thing likes to sit on top of wherever the entry field on a website is, that's where the Zoom like controller hover thing is going to
Nice.
locate itself. That's why I had to move it.
Okay.
All right, so let's see here. And then let's see if there's a compare feature. I haven't used CoinMarketCap for a long time. Okay, well, let's just go back to this one. Okay, so when was that? Did you buy before the big pop or after the big pop? Let's go back to the fullness of time here.
Yeah,
when the fun started.
I bought it. Yeah, I bought right under $4 there. It was like
okay, so on the way up.
Yep.
So you were
very quickly, by the way, I remember that was my wife's birthday that day where it went up, and I was just ha-ha-haing about how much money we were making at
this is so easy. I'm the smartest trader ever, honey.
I was so smart, man. It was
yeah, back in 2017, I was the king of the world for about 30 seconds. So anyway, yeah, the casino has to let you win sometimes. And in retrospect, your speed on the trigger finger gave you a quick win here because you were faster than all the other people responding to the same stimulus.
Which I tried to do twice with Daryl and the atomic slot happened.
And you found out how, that's why, proceed with caution. So if you look here at the early days of Epic, you see this, irrational exuberance in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Now that seems pretty crazy. So that was 3,000 sats, incidentally. So we're about 5,000 now. All-time high is 6,000. So we're within spitting distance, knock on wood. But let's go to Zcash, which is a particularly extreme example. Actually, no. These guys are so nice that I'm gonna go there. Hi, Mac. All right. So all right. So look at this early chart. Holy smokes. So look.
Was that pre-mined?
No, this was fair launch, kinda. There was $100 million of VC mining that came in that was pre-launched and preloaded. So anyway, 700,000 Satoshis. And today it is 600. So 99 point whatever percent. And then there's another one that I'll tell the story after we look at it. So, wow, look at that.
Jeez.
So one Zcash was briefly, it didn't even capture it. It hit $5,840 per one Zcash in the very early days. Yeah.
What a gut.
Yeah, exactly. So I got my eyelids ripped off on Grin. I was a believer in Mimblewimble, and I wanted to take a position in the network and arrange for some mining capacity. And it was supposed to, or my understanding was that it was supposed to, be harvested over time, dribble it out. We'll watch the markets. No, they just threw the entire investment into renting this giant farm in like a day. And they said, here's your coins. And I look and I'm like, okay, when's the next batch? And they go, no. I got rug pulled for 50 BTC on that deal.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, my average cost per grin was like $20 or something. And then like these scam exchanges, like we took a lot of heat in the early days. Why don't we go into Hotbit? MWC's on Hotbit and they could win $300 million in 2 months. This coin is here. Why don't we go there? Well, because like the wallet didn't work. And so I was like, okay, let's send it to Hotbit. And they simply stole my money. And so,
So you lost $3 million on that rug pull.
Oh no, I mean at the time it was 50 BTC, but we always, yeah. So this was right when Grin first launched, but everything happens for a reason, because I had a personal reason to get very, very deep into the weeds on the Grin tech way before it was even a thing.
Right.
In summer of 2019, I went to MoneroCon in Denver, which is part of how we linked up with Diego and co, some of the other Monero guys that have been, quietly helping for some time, that are now coming out of the shadows a little bit. And Andrew Polstra from Blockstream was there, and long story short, I took him to the airport so that I would get the I don't know, hour or two or whatever face to face, asking him about all kinds of advanced Mimblewimble stuff. So
that's awesome.
Let's
go back to the R and try to find the $2 mark where I was having my agita, and it would have been in
like right here.
No,
that was 339.
No, it was like closer to maybe July or
oh yeah. You were like,
right there.
It's coming back. Yeah.
Right there. So if we could just go through the exercise there and do like the same time frame for Epic Cash, people can then see my utter agita, because I was just convinced that I just need it to get back up to my basis. So that was me just being emotional, not pragmatic, and which is not the way you need to approach analyzing your portfolio. I now learn.
All right. So we were about 11, 12, 1500 sats, something like that.
Oh, I know.
I think you first started nibbling back in here. So 800 and 1200. So we were like 700 to 1500 sats back there, something like that.
Yeah.
So in BTC terms, you were let's
average
see,
1,000 maybe.
I don't know. We can call it 1,000. But so you're up about 4 to 5x from there, depending on blended price.
That's correct.
So you're up about 4 to 5x in BTC, but okay. So it looks like BTC has been relatively flat during that times. Other times, when BTC goes up or down, it can give a really different number. So here it's been relatively steady. So let's see, you were back in July, so about $2 ish, and now you'd be like under $1. But the problem is the other way that these things get you is if you go to the markets tab and you look at the volume. Okay, so KuCoin did $400,000 in 24 hours. But when you go to sell, you can only sell $6,000 without moving the market. So
but if you sold $6,000, the price is going to go down, and you're going to just sell into your.
And then you set off a cascade. And so if you look at the chart, like when you FOMO'd in, look how much volume was there.
Right.
See down here at the bottom.
Yep.
So enormous volume. I mean, this thing did it did what, $40 million one day,
Yeah,
something like that, or at least the reported volume. And now it's 700,000, 600,000. So back then, if the reported number was 40 million, then maybe there was, I don't know, a few $1,000,000 of real volume. But if it's claimed 600,000, I mean, you can only sell $6,000 without crushing the market. So maybe the real number is, I don't know, a few tens of thousands. Maybe people can go and sell and see, like, try to hit the bid for 10 grand. Actually, no, you know what? We can do it right now. So we can go and see. Now, it looks like trade over, there is a strong bid. So whoever is behind that project financially, they've got their money where their mouth is. 252 grand within 2%. But look at that. Isn't this very interesting? So the reported volume on KuCoin for Tether, which is the biggest pair right here. So they claim 400,000, but you can only sell 6,000. All
wow.
right. So it's a 60 plus ratio.
That's crazy.
Times daily volume, right? Now this one, if it was 60 times the actual, like, you can go sell this right now into that bid, would be what, $15 million. So somebody out there has a desperate interest in maintaining the appearance of strength here. So let's go and see. All right. So somebody has decided to hold the fort down there with 3,000 Rs. Oh, looks like it's blinking in and out. Wow, interesting. So based on this behavior, it looks like somebody is running a market maker bot that, well, actually, there's at least one bot here, and this looks like where the main price action is determined. So it can be deceiving, you know, if you're like, I've got $500 worth, I'm always going to be able to get out because look, it was $1 million a day. Well,
right.
All right, I'm going to go to my favorite FMFW, WTF, bro. I can't even sell $68 without moving the market.
Wow.
Oh, and the last trade was uh-oh. Honey, I guess Johnny's not going to college. Or you can go here, and because we kept our market with high integrity, it's a DEX, and it's quite expensive in terms of fees to trade on there. So there's no washing and nonsense painting the tape like that. So it's only 75 grand, but that's a real 75 grand. You can trust it. And you can actually see we had days where we got up to 5, 6, 700,000. There was some real action. And I find it very telling. You know how much I love to talk about price, but it's interesting how the volume just goes through the roof at the same time that the price breaks through to new levels. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win. And it was the same thing here with BTC. Incidentally, the design of BTC, if you look at the way that the emission curve, so here's the emission curve.
Yep.
And then here is the log scale price over time: 1 cent, 10 cents, $1, 10, 100, 1,000. Takes a little bit of a breather, breaks through 10,000, a little bit of a breather, and so on. So next step here is 100. So that makes sense given the supply emission. Now we're on a little bit more of a compressed path with the 9 years going to 19, and the value overflow and being later to the market versus first and all that. But the math and science behind it seem to be pretty comparable, which bodes well for our future. I know I'm jumping around a lot.
Yeah, is that why you were sharing before that we were just talking about? I predict that we're going to blow through our all-time high within the next 48 hours, based upon what's for sale. And
well, let's go take a look. Let's go take a look at the market. And
by the way, Max, you may say I'm crazy or not, but I am on record as of yesterday's cigar walk that by the end of the year, I believe Epic Cash will break $10. And I know you don't like talking price, but let's humor me. Okay.
Okay. Well, let's see what the market says. So the all-time high was 6,000 sats. If you are willing to only buy the coins that are available for sale right now, cheaper than that, you can buy 16,000 coins, and that will take the market to $3.48, and then there will be none for sale up until about 10% more than that, and then it gets very thin above that. So there's only what is that, 3 days of mining production available less than all-time highs. So I talked to a lot of people, and I made, if you remember, I made an exception. It was just, I knew you and your friend, you were gonna like lose all your money, and I was like, okay, let me just let me do it just this once, because like when I give positive advice, then it's like you're a trading genius, but when it goes wrong, then it's my fault. And I learned that the hard way.
I'm learning that too. There, I saw somebody in the chat that was knocking me for talking to somebody who held pirate and was saying, yeah, Uncle V told this person to buy at the all-time high, and now look where it is, because we had to retrace. And so just wait till the end of the month, sports fans, then we'll compare.
So at 15,000 sats, which is like, if you just said, this is the best thing ever, I'm going to FOMO in and just take everything. I'll take it all. Nom, nom, nom. That would be what? Let's see, over $7, something like that. If you bought the entire inventory available for sale, which is only a week's worth of production, by the way, imagine your entire food supply chain.
How many coins would that be? How many coins would
39,000. So buying 39,000 coins doubles the price. Now you could say, oh, well, on the other side, like selling 39,000 coins crushes the price. No, actually it doesn't, because look at this monster, demand that's there. Like at some price, there's a demand for huge quantities. When the value overflow incident happened, and the attacker was just dumping huge blocks into the market, we didn't go to zero, and we didn't go there fast. It was like people kept rushing to come in and buy. That's what censorship resistance is all about, which means that, like, for those who think they missed the boat and $3 is too much, all right, well, just wait a little bit. There's probably going to be a market crash, and maybe you'll get that dollar again. But you better believe that the people that have been here for years, if we go back to 50 cents or something, are going to be shut up and take my money. Like we've seen it go from 300 people in the Telegram to 1,500, despite pruning. Like if you notice it goes down, it's because we always take the deleted accounts out and the spam bots and stuff. So at every level, we're small but authentic and high quality. And if you look back over the long sweep of things that end up being really successful, we're following in those footsteps.
Okay, so explain me what this chart means. I mean, again, for the uninitiated, the newbies who don't read charts.
Okay, so this on the right-hand side is the amount that's for sale. And so as you go out on price, so see here in the middle, it's saying 47.62.
So that's where the price is now.
Well, that is the midpoint between the bids and the asks.
Okay.
So it's a little hard to read. So it says 0001 at the end. Like basically, there's a bid for a lot of quantity at just above a 0 point. And then 2747, 3556, 4201, and so on.
Why would someone have a bid out there for 0.001? That's just fantasy.
Oh, really? Let's check it out. Why is it only madness, or is there a method in it? Let's see if I can pull it up quickly enough here, or else. Let's see, where was it? You can't see it on this chart, but if you're familiar with the phenomenon of a flash crash, like sometimes there'll be momentary disruptions where you can get a really great deal. In fact, let's go pull that up because it's really interesting. See that?
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, I mean, BTC flash crashed recently, right?
everything flash crashes. This is back from 2017, but this is why they do that. So like you just put in a low bid like overnight or when there's a system maintenance or something, and then when there's a glitch, somebody's on the right side of that.
Wow.
So yeah,
Okay.
it like Zcash was before my time, but I know guys that were shorting the futures through BitMEX when it first came out, and they were pulling BTC off of there as fast as they could, like load
Wow.
it in using the derivatives and stuff. Yeah, you know, a nice game if you can play. So that's why they're in there.
Okay.
You might call that strategy stink bids. If you hear
Okay.
that, that's what it means. And so what is the key takeaway? So let's say somebody says, I'm really hungry. I like this. I want to buy all I can get. So if you look at this right now, it says that if you're willing to pay 10,600 sats, which is over double where we are right now.
Yeah.
If you're willing to pay double the market price, you can get 23,600 coins.
Jeepers.
Yeah.
I mean,
And so the entire market only has 39,000 coins.
I mean, think about that. Wow. And then and now talk to me what happens when we get when we get listed on Bitmart December 20th or 21st.
So let's evaluate both possibilities. One possibility is all the people that are here on VTEX will say, Bitmart, I'm no longer interested. I'm going to sell all my coins and go buy Cardano, and I'm not interested anymore. All of our pools will shut down, all of our wallets. Like everybody's going to say, you know what, Bitmart, screw it, I'm out. No, of course not. All of that's going to stay. But what do we get? 8 million new people that have an easy button to buy without getting a PhD in quantitative blockchain from Free U to figure out VTEX.
Okay.
So there's a non-zero.
And there's going to be a nice bit of like I would call it a press release on Epic Cash to those 8 million holders. So they're not going in. And if they're looking at it based upon the performance of Epic Cash, reference Enrique's charts, if somebody's like, what's this Epic Cash? And they go in and they look at it, that becomes a chomp, you know.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, so we are going to do an experiment that's a departure from our normal no paid marketing thing. After 2 years, we've done enough work that it won't damage our authenticity to do a little bit to get the word out. So we're not supposed to say until it's done, but essentially we chose some well-selected names that have existing audiences to tell the story. One is mining. There's two YouTube guys. And then there's a newswire for blockchain that gets syndicated out on different websites. And so we're going to put a little bit of elbow grease. It's not a huge amount of money. It's about $6,000. And for transparency, all of that will be available on chain and online through the DAO governance and stuff. So we're doing that, and that should get some additional eyeballs. And then also we're gonna we've been wanting to for some time, but the mechanics of getting it done have been a challenge. I expect some resolution on that here short term, but we're going to do a symbolic gesture of the first retirement of the IOU tokens. And then assuming that goes well, start doing that on an ongoing basis so that the long suffering.
What does that, what does that mean? So I hold some IOU tokens because you shared with me sometime smart people like you can buy something, 25 cents on the dollar. So what's going to happen with those?
So let's see if VTEX will ever load for me. So this was the hack, the value overflow incident back in March. Buyers who stepped into the breach and took advantage of the market conditions to buy what eventually turned out to be counterfeit coins that vanished, lost 6.6 BTC worth of value. At the time, it was about $400,000. And so there were, I think it was 155 holders, somewhere around 150. And what we did is matched up down to the hour, the dollar BTC rate of how much value people lost. And then individually spoke to each person to make sure there was an understanding. And if you lost $642 trying to buy Epic back then we gave you 642 EIOU tokens as a placeholder for, we're going to spin up the DAO, we're going to do this and that, and then we'll get you back. So it's not a loss. You just have to wait. And so in the meantime, a secondary market formed and people have been selling those for a discount. Looks like the last trade was 37 cents. So, I'm not saying that the market will instantly go back to, around $1, but over the fullness of time, we are going to retire all of those tokens. If they're available from the market at a discount, then of course we'll take those first. But eventually, we've got to retire all of those to maintain our or establish, let's say, our good credit rating in the eyes of the world. And so that's an important step. Yeah. So just like the United States Treasury and Japanese central bank and European central bank and all the nation state treasuries, they have their full faith and credit obligations. And that's a source of financing to tap on. We want to do that same thing here and establish ourselves as a really blue chip type of credit so that imagine, 5, 7, 10 years from now, we've got the market willing to support our vision financially at a lower cost of capital than others, because we think the debt piece is going to be strategic for our stack.
Hey, can we do this? Can we go through an exercise right here, like today? Okay, if I'm making a decision of whether I want to buy, and let's be reasonable, let's say $5,000 worth of BTC versus $5,000 of Epic, and if you were counseling me to go through the exercise that we did. Where, if you recall, you were talking to me about what has to happen for BTC to 2x, what would have to happen for Epic to 2x. That was very, very instrumental for me to go through that.
Yeah, that's
part of the exercise.
Yeah, that's a great one. So getting back to the analogy of the apartment building that has a price per square foot valuation, the market valuation of other layer ones, Monero is just under 5 billion. Litecoin is north of 10 billion. Monero is 500 billion. BTC is just under $1 trillion. So Avalanche 20 billion. So even fairly niche, smaller ones, Cadena, our partners, getting some attention lately, and I think they're around 3 billion. So even smaller ones that don't have a lot of users can have quite a bit of value. What is the potential value of Epic versus what is the actual value today? So in the case of BTC, the market cap is $1 trillion. Mm-hmm. So the only thing you can really do with BTC, arguably, is store value. The primary competitor that's been the market leader for 6,000 plus years is gold, which has a market cap of 10 trillion. So let's say that BTC is going to go from a 10% market share versus its competitor to what? 20% market share. Okay, so it's great. You have now doubled your money with $1 trillion shift of where the world sees value into this bucket. All right, so I'm trying to evaluate on a price per square foot basis the neighborhood value of BTC to the neighborhood value of gold for that same purpose.
Okay,
It
so
originally
you're saying that you're saying that for BTC to 2x, then there would have to be a shift of $1 trillion. So it would need to be it would have to go to a market
2
cap
trillion.
of 2 trillion. Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
2 trillion, hold on. 57,156 times 2, that would be to 114,000. And a lot of people, a lot of the tea leaf readers out there who, do all the chart analysis, it doesn't seem like over 100,000 is out of the question in this last parabolic phase. If that happens, Willie Woo, for crying out loud, is steadfast on it's going to hit 250. But let's just give them that it doubles and it goes to 114. So my $57,000 today, if I could afford one Bitcoin, I'm going to 2x. But it's gonna take $1 trillion of new money to flow into BTC, $1 trillion. Okay, now we have that as our basis.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it needs $1 trillion to flow in, but the world would need to see a way to trusting in BTC twice as much as it does relative to today. And that would represent a shift of about 10% of the accumulated economic gravity of the entire world population for 6,000 years. So I'm just trying to assess how likely it is that a shift like that can happen. Because if we go to Monero as an example, the market value of Monero is $4.4 billion. So the market has said that true peer-to-peer anonymous electronic cash operating on a certain type of blockchain structure, which in this case, Monero and Epic share the same boxes that are able to be ticked, like Pirate Chain and a handful of other protocols. It's got complete privacy on the base layer. In other words, nobody can see anything about address or amount. And so these two items could be on the same shelf in the supermarket, if you will. So you can get right now, you can fit about 113 Epic into Monero. So Epic is 38 million market cap and Monero is 4.4 billion. So let's do that same exercise. So for Epic to double your money, for us to go from 38 million to 76 million, we don't have to displace 10%. We don't have to displace 10% of the market share of gold that accumulated over 6,000 years. All we have to do is get 1% of the way to where Monero is today. We double your money if we go 1% of where Monero already is. Now, let's put that in perspective. Monero has been around for 7 years, and it has 2,500 network nodes. Epic has been around 2 years, and it has about, we're doing the present math now, but it's probably going to be around 5,000 network nodes. The Monero blockchain can only be run on, or can only be mined on CPU, and it takes 100 plus gigabytes of space with a much less transactional capacity than Epic at 2 gigabytes of space. So the capacity for people to use these networks as actual money, just based on those lower barriers to entry, is dramatically greater for Epic than Monero. But financially, it takes $4 billion for you to double your money in Monero. And remember, you are on a long-term downtrend. If we go, no matter what time scale we look at, it's down. So you're catching a falling knife, and here. I always like to go from the high. So, where did it get to, and then where did it go from here? So triumph of hope over experience, it's going to turn around all of a sudden, or you're getting into something that nobody has heard of yet. So again, assessing the balance of probabilities. The likelihood is that much less market traction leads to much more financial result for you from the perspective of today in Epic than in these other assets. And so when Epic is ahead of its skis and overvalued and goes into a hype phase where we can do no wrong and everybody's so rich and so smart, then maybe it'll be a different story, but not at $40 million. I mean, it's just there are dead dead networks that aren't even secure, that are much more than that, and I really think it bears some scrutiny, and maybe the community can dig into this. Islo, if you're listening, I know you've been benchmarking some of the meme coins and some of these other shorter lived phenomena. But how do you explain a network like this? So how do you explain this, which has about the same market cap, but it's let's see.
This is great, by the way. This has been my favorite ever since the shitcoin trial with you, just because this summarizes it all. I mean,
yeah. So Grin, these guys were at 62% a few days ago. So this always VIP could shut down the network at any time they wanted to. Why? It's ASIC mined and it's dead and nobody gives a darn. Well, I mean, it's not dead, but like look at what happens. Part of why we didn't want to get ahead of our skis and go to, say, a Hotbit type exchange and get the get rich quick thing, is look at how demoralizing this must be.
unbelievable.
At every scale. Yeah, are you going to buy an ASIC miner? Are you going to develop a pool? Are you going to develop some software? So yeah, we're fortunate. Right now we're just under, right around 200 contributors, and there's some serious OGs that have seen a lot from other coins that are helping us avoid some of these pitfalls and landmines. We really think we have something special here, and we want to protect it at all costs.
Can you give a little insight to the hold on one second. Sorry. Sorry. I just, please don't go away. I just have to let someone in. Hello. Yeah, please let him in. Thank you. All right. Sorry guys, but that would be my sick daughter's lunch. Okay. Where was I? Shit. I don't know.
So I just noticed on ours that mining pool stats has wrong info. So if somebody knows these guys, you should reach out. Looks like they don't have Epic Mine, and we have 4 pools right now, and it's fairly split between them. And as we grow, we're going to make sure that we stay as decentralized as possible. Healthy looks, but I'm assuming Raven would be pretty distributed. Let's check here. Yeah. So see how that looks? That looks more like Ethereum. That's very, very healthy. So we're working on open source pool stuff where anybody can spin up a pool easily using pre-built templates and stuff. Right now, I think the most decentralized at a pool level is Ethereum at about 50, I think, that have some non-zero market share. So we've set our sights on 100, and then really as mobile mining takes off, we're going to need thousands of pools, because otherwise it just risks re-centralizing the network. So we're really trying to think about all the different nuances under the hood here.
So
what else you got?
We're at 38.5 million. I just checked, and I think there's going to be a couple of things that are going to happen. I think the listing on Bitmart is going to be a game changer. I think the investment in marketing dollars is going to be a game changer. So that is why
I've never done it.
That's why I'm going to hold to my, because we're still an absolutely undiscovered coins. And that's why I'm going to hold to my $10. But I would like to ask you, if you could give us a little bit of insight, because I know it's developed, the Diego wallet's developed, but we're waiting on the final V3 to be able to put it all together. But what am I going to be able to do as an Epic holder within that wallet?
So right now, sending is a process that's possible, but it's by no means easy. Copy this, tap this, squint here, ignore that box that runs over the side. I mean, it's functional, but it's not the most pleasant experience. And so what Diego did, and it was quite an exhaustive process. I didn't hear from him for weeks, if not months, and then he came back and said, "Aha, this is it." Was benchmarking,
and he designed the Monero wallet. By the way, this guy is a genius. I didn't realize we had Monero Jesus on our team, but we do.
I believe, yeah, I believe he did Firo too as well. It's not just him; he's got a whole elite boutique consultancy of special resources. He's not the only one from that group that works with us. So shout out to some of the other guys that are there as well. Yeah, so the idea was to make it easy. So like if I send you coins, then I need to be able to easily save you to my address book, and maybe I need a memo, and maybe I need a tag of like, what is this for? Is this household bills, or am I repaying my poker loan? Do I want to run my own local node? Do I want to connect to somebody else? How do you do all these things? And so it's a design truism that it is easy to make something that's difficult to use, but it's difficult to make something that's easy to use. And so I believe it'll be worth the wait. And whatever it is as a start, part of why it's like molasses waiting for things in the short term is that we're investing in the tooling and the processes and the procedural capabilities to do not just a single release one time and then, oof, that was something, we're never going to do that again. You see other projects where their roadmap that they did a year ago ends at the end of this year, and nobody bothers to update it, that kind of a thing, versus a more living, dynamic sort of like, we're going to be pushing releases all the time. And if we're doing that, we need to have quality control procedures and testing and documentation, and this needs to be updated over here. If we want to be taken seriously as a multi-billion-dollar thing, and we do and we will, then we need to act that way. And so we have humble homespun community project origins, but that doesn't mean we don't know how to run very professional, disciplined software engineering operations. And this is our chance to show what type of outfit we are. And so the benefit of the early things coming more slowly is that the subsequent ones come faster. So when we shipped the original Epic protocol, we wrote the white paper to match the code that existed at the time so that the world would not have to trust. We weren't asking for any money. We weren't asking for any belief in, here, get involved in this network and it's going to be great tomorrow. Not to knock Cardano as an example, but seriously, you raised hundreds of millions of dollars 5-6 years ago, and now all these years later, $50 billion, and you can't do things that other networks have been able to do for years. Like at a certain point, come on. And so we felt that it was important to just say, here, like, it is what it is. If you like it, you can use it. And we don't want people to value us in the stratosphere based on this expectation that the future is going to be great. Now it's a little bit different because we owe it to the people that are not just financially committed, but temporally and emotionally committed in our community, which just reached about 1,500 members in the main chat. Is what are we doing here? Are we here to hunt bear, as Yoga says? Who do we want to be when we grow up? And as part of that discussion, which is directly relevant to the value of the ECR token and all the other assets that are coming out, is what are we attempting to build? Are we trying to go to Mars, or are we trying to go to the moon? Because if we're trying to go to Mars, we got to do all this other stuff. If we're just trying to go to the moon, then we have these things and not those other things. And so as part of that, we're starting to put meat on the bones about what exactly can people expect on Epic v4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Really just
can you stop the screen share real quick? And I just want to do something just that'll help people ground this, and I'm not going to keep it up very long.
Oh no, you can. It's okay. Cat's out of the bag on this stuff. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. All right. So, okay. I am so excited I can finally share this. This has been like
it's not final. The perfectionist in me doesn't want to, it needs to be like V17 rather than 1.0, but this is close enough.
Okay. So lower left, we have Epic Cash, which is what people are familiar with. Then you have ECR, which is we're going to have a snapshot. How many Epic Cash you hold, you're going to get a snapshot to where you're going to get an equivalent amount of ECR, which is going to be very important on this subway system for your financial future. But then you dropped last Friday that we're also going to get a twin snapshot to where we're going to get ECK as well. I'm going to stop there. I don't know if there's anything about this that you want to share, but it's from what I understand, the new wallet, when it comes out, is you're going to be able to have a relationship of all of these in the single wallet. Not all of this. I mean, I know this is the future, but that's where it's like, if people out there, we're $38 million market cap. What you're seeing here is $1 trillion market cap. Just saying. And I don't think I'm wrong. And I think one day we will prove that I'm not wrong. Go ahead.
The market cap. Okay, so EUSD, if you notice, there's little bubbles off there. If we can do we can do CNY, Euro, JPY, GBP, all of them. So basically fiat, if you imagine. Bottom right, EFX, that's, if you want to actually do fiat, like the Cash App type of stuff with your daughter kind of a thing. A structured smart contract driven way to do that. But the market, the overall market cap, the total supply of fiat currencies in the world is, I think, around 300 trillion. So if the market for store of value, as represented by gold, is 10 trillion, BTC is 1 trillion, the market for medium of exchange, which is how I look at global fiat, is orders of magnitude beyond that, 300 trillion versus 10 trillion. And so because BTC is only potentially useful as a store of value, you're trying to go for some fraction of that, 10 trillion that gold already is. But Epic has an addressable market. The TAM, as the VCs say, total addressable market of Epic, is well into the hundreds of trillions. And so you're coming in very late to an early story in BTC. You're coming in very early to a story that's just beginning, that is probably going to last quite a bit longer, because I don't send a lot of fax, I don't write checks, and I don't write horses. And that's the equivalent of what we're talking about here with BTC.
Okay, all right. I will stop sharing that, because, ladies and gentlemen, to me that was kind of the mic drop. This has been a fantastic live stream, Max. Thank you for educating us. Thank you, everyone in the chat who has showed up. There's been a lot of you in there. I see a lot of comments. So, good for you. And I think this will ultimately become one of the most watched videos that we've done together, Max, because there's just a whole lot to unpack. And I think there's going to be a lot of snippets that the creative video guys on our team are going to be able to go in and harvest and hijack and use for further education. So, man, thank you for making time, Max. You want to take us out?
Just as I always do, we can always use more help. So ping me, ping any admin, anyone, a little, a lot, but find a way to get involved. And if you want help running through this exercise, there's a School of Wealth Accumulation in free U, so t.me/FreemanU. And I teach there. I'm one of the guys that knows a bit about this stuff. There's many others as well. So jump in there, and if you want to go through like we did with Uncle V and some other people that have been able to get positioned well, then we can. There's a lot of people that are trying to sell courses and do my secret sauce and watch my videos and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but we just want people to have a clear-eyed view about what it is we're doing here. And if you pay attention to the wrong signals, like let's say you're in I don't know, a trading chat as an example, and you're like, I think we can go to, my chicken bones indicate we can go to this price and whatever. You may go, I won the battle, but I lost the war, because the regret framework that people bring over a couple of years of this journey, I doubled my money and I sold. I 10x my money and I sold. Is it too late to buy back now? It doesn't feel right to buy back at 50 times what I just sold for. So the existing patterns that we bring from the stock market, from traditional financial analysis, from every single coin in the history of crypto depreciating versus BTC, those are all correct, but they're also wrong, because nothing like Epic has ever happened before. And so this is the one time that I agreed, we'll just call spades about price here, for everybody. But really, it's about the utility, and the utility of Epic is as a store of value and as a medium of exchange. And if we're able to do even a little bit of either of those things, much less both, and much less all of the other stuff that is now coming, like you shared about the ecosystem map, then if you put 1 plus 1 together and do some dot connecting, it's different. And so most people in our lives don't have the opportunity to come face to face with really pivotal, life-changing situations. Like if you are born into a place, you're probably going to die around the same socioeconomic circumstances as you were born into. But here, if you had $1,200 stimulus put into Epic at the bottom of the market, you have what, $400,000 now? I mean, stimulus runs through people's hands quickly, and you don't have anything to show for it. And here you have a nice home and a life for yourself. And those stories are just beginning. So it's really early to our story. And if you want to understand more about the true potential of what we're doing, then jump into one of the chats and just ask. So my pleasure to be here. Thanks for making the time.
And by the way, everyone, hit that like button, smash it, and also please share my channel with others so that they can get this kind of information, other people in your life. And please visit us at t.me/epic cash. That is our primary community. And then from there, you can go off into other groups. Just a wonderful community there. And as Max said, if you want to go learn and get a PhD in crypto, t.me/FreemanU, FREEMANU. And it's a go-to. You know how we all have our favorite go-to sports pages on the internet or news sites or whatever. My favorite go-to is Freeman U. I always go and just scroll down. And I want to finish this on a fun story. So yesterday I had my 2 dogs groomed, and about 4 months ago, if not 5, when Epic was around a quarter, I asked my groomer if she would like to be tipped in green cash or Epic cash. Now, she didn't know a thing about crypto, but she trusts me. And she says, I don't know. What do you think? And I said, I'd do Epic cash. So I helped her get a Vite wallet to download the Vite multi-wallet exchange. And then I also helped her get CoinMarketCap so we could load in the Epic. And back then, I gave her a really nice tip, from a fiat standpoint. It's like $100 tip. and that was a good amount of Epic back then. Well, anyway, yesterday picked up the dogs, tipped her an Epic, and I couldn't keep track. But I asked, how many Epic do you have in there right now? And she's like, almost 1,000. And I'm like, by the end of the month, oh no, I mean the value was almost, it was over $1,000. And I said, by the end of the month, I think that's going to be almost $5,000. And she's like, really? And I said, yeah, but get this, your son who was just born 6 weeks ago, I think just those coins are going to put him through college and be able to buy you a really nice home as well. And I threw out there, I think those coins are going to be worth $5 million one day. And she's like, really? And the thing is, I have utmost conviction that I'm right. So that is one thing. It is kind of fun if you have people in your lives who are in service in any way to you, where you can tip them in Epic Cash. Just educate them, talk to them about it, get them to join the community, pay it forward. It's fun. It is so fun to get people in here. And then it's really cool. You do that enough times to your favorite places, and it's really fun to tip people in Epic Cash versus the green stuff. I hate the green stuff. But okay, finishing on that, I hope you guys enjoyed today. It was an emergency broadcast because it's important. Why? Because we want you watching to chomp, chomp, chomp on the red in VDX so that you can be on the right side of financial history, because I believe there are going to be people very, very soon who are bragging about getting Epic Cash under $10. So with that,